Hi, and welcome to the HerBusiness Podcast, where we dive into the strategies, insights, and the stories that help women business owners build a business they love without the overwhelm or the burnout. I'm your host, Susie Daphnis, and today we have a truly inspiring episode for you. We're joined by Angela Counsel, a naturopath and the visionary CEO behind the Embrace program, which is revolutionizing the way women navigate menopause. But today we're not focusing on menopause. Instead, Angela shares her entrepreneurial journey, how she transformed her business model, and how she's embracing her role as CEO to scale her business. So grab your notebook because you're about to get a wealth of knowledge on building a successful, sustainable business that thrives on your terms. Hey Angela, welcome to the show.
Hi Susie, thanks for having me.
I am so excited to talk about business and a few other things with you today. Why don't you kick us off by telling us a little bit about the work that you do to support women to thrive through menopause?
Well, this is brand new actually. So I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Embrace Menopause. So we support women as they move through their menopause transition without the use of HRT. And we offer our signature 10-week group program, which is called Embrace. And that's Australasia's leading health and lifestyle program for women who are looking for natural solutions as they move through this time of life.
I love it. And when you say this is new, what's new is the name.
Yes.
Right? You've just recently had a brand change, haven't you?
Yes. So because in the past, I just used to go under my own name of Angela Counsel, but things have evolved. I am now the CEO. That's a thing that I've really embraced from the work that you teach us. So I am the CEO of Embrace Menopause. And it sounds different, and it's got such a different energy to it.
Doesn't it? And it adds, and so, we're kind of going off topic a little bit, but I think this is important for those listening, is that names matter. Naming matters, what we name our courses, what we call our businesses. And you said it just has a totally different vibe to it, right? And it's such, I've already said this to you, how much I love the name Embrace Menopause because it does so many things in the one word. And I remember, Angela, when we changed our name for almost, 20 plus years, we were the Australian Businesswomen's Network. And then we did a rebrand into HerBusiness. And I felt like my body could just relax. I felt, this is who we really are. So congratulations on the rebrand. I know with rebranding, all sorts of things have to be done and created and recreated and updated and all those things. So great. Thank you for your connection statement and introducing us to your world. And before we dive into talking about your business, which is what we're really here to do and the incredible growth that you've seen over the last 2 to 3 years, it would be remiss of me to not use this opportunity to ask you a question about menopause, because many of our listeners, many of the members inside the HerBusiness Network are right into that demographic where they are grappling with some of the symptoms. So what I wanted to ask, and of course, we're going to put all the details of where you can find Angela so that you can dive deep into this topic if you're someone who needs support with this. But all I want to ask you is, what do we tend to get wrong when we think about embracing menopause?
Well, that is a whole workshop in itself, but let's just keep it really brief. Number one, most women don't realise how early the transition can start. So transition and the changes in hormones start as early as your early 40s, late 30s. And it can take up to 10, 13 years. Now, that doesn't mean that's, 10 years of agony, but hormones are shifting. And as they shift, the body is changing. And that's when, for some women, they start to experience symptoms. The big one is putting weight on they never had before. And menopause itself is only one day, and that is 12 months after your last period. And then after that, you're postmenopausal. So that's probably the biggest thing. And the other thing is that most of the conversation is all around hormones, estrogen and progesterone. And we're not talking enough about the role that stress plays in our symptoms. And that's the big part that I talk about, is the different forms of stress, whether it's the food that you eat, the way you move your body, the emotional, the mental, all of that stress influences your hormones and actually plays a role in the symptoms that you experience. So that's it in a nutshell.
I love that because it is a little out of the box as far as what most people talk about. And I love that you have this very holistic approach. And I think it's actually dumb to not consider that all those things, the stress, the nutrition, the movement, wouldn't make a difference to how one woman experiences menopause and how another does. So once again, we'll send people your way. Today, I want to talk a little bit about your business because when I first met you, or when I first started to work more closely with you, you were on this journey to grow a business. You had had a business before, a successful six-figure business. You were starting this new business, selling courses and services around this topic of menopause. And I think you were doing somewhere in the vicinity of $20,000. Now you've not only doing 10 times plus, but you're on the way to a seven-figure business. So what I wanted to ask you, because when I met you, you were like, this has got to work, or, it's go or bust. What motivated you to give yourself like a 1-year ultimatum? When you joined the mastermind program that we run, you said, I'm giving myself 1 year to make this business work, or I'm out. Not out of the program so much, but out of the business.
Yeah, this was basically my last ditch effort. Because as you said, yes, I used to have a very successful bricks and mortar business. I ran a clinic. I had practitioners that worked for me. It was really, really successful. And then I shut that down and I moved online. And I was online as a naturopath before it was a thing to be online. Right. So that required a lot of re-education of the market because they weren't used to being online. So it was really, really tough. And I had no one to follow. I did look outside my industry and I was implementing things from outside my industry. And that, particularly if we look at the US and we're going back, 10, 15 years, the US, there were a lot of changes over there, but that wasn't being picked up here in Australia. So I was kind of seen as a maverick because I was doing things differently and there was no one to follow. And I'd got to the stage whereby I was exhausted. I tried these things and I'm going, look, why is it working for those people over there, but it's not working here? Why is Australia so different? And I basically got to a stage that's like, well, do I need to do this? And the answer, financially, no, I didn't. My husband was, he earned enough money. Financially, I didn't need to do it, but I had a drive that I had to do something. I knew I didn't want to go back to corporate, even though there were days that packing woolies was kind of really, really looked good. But I was tired. I'd also been through personal challenges because my husband was diagnosed with melanoma, and then he had lots of health concerns out of that with the treatment. And I had 2 teenage children, and it's like, really, do I want to keep doing this? And I was going to breakfast networking meetings, and early morning starts are not my thing. And I used to go to these networking meetings, and everyone would just exchange cards, and I was kind of going, I can't do this anymore. And so HerBusiness came along and it was online. Great. I didn't have to get up for an early morning meeting. I love doing things online. So I thought, well, I'll try it. And shortly after, you and Michelle run the experience for the first time online, because that was when COVID came along. So there are some bonus to COVID. And because it was over a month period, and I went, okay, let's just try this. And I tried it. And there was so much just in that 1 month that I learned. And I thought, okay, I'm going to scrape the money together to actually cover the first couple of months and hope, cross everything, that I'm actually going to earn enough money to pay for the rest of Mastermind for the rest of the year. It worked.
It sure did. It worked again. And I think you're in your 3rd or 4th year now. So I want to cover off something Angela referred to. She talked about a month-long program. And so that's our Mastermind Experience program. It's a 30-day marketing strategy program that we run once a year, and I run it with my co-presenter, Michelle Falzon. And we give women a deep dive into what it's like to be in a mastermind. Plus, they get 30 days of creating their marketing plan, their ideal client avatar, their funnels. Anyway, it's a really power-packed 30 days, and it's kind of a precursor for women who might want to join our year-long program. So I mention that because as we go to air, we haven't yet announced this year's program, but I can tell you come May, you will start to hear about it because it starts in June. So you might just want to park that thought somewhere. If you're listening, you're thinking, okay, I would love a 1-month deep dive into my marketing and to create a year-long marketing strategy and to get help with my offers and my ideal clients. So just park that there. So I want to go back to the situation you were in, and I could feel the pain of what you were talking about. And it sounds like you were at a real crossroads. You came into the mastermind program. And again, if you're listening and you're not sure what that is, it's a year-long marketing program that I co-present with Michelle Falzon. And you came in and there were a couple of things going on. One, you had already entered the online world. You had a course called Embrace. It was a few $100s. It was, I think, 12 weeks long at the time. And you were getting some people in. You already had people saying yes, but you knew in order to make this business work, you needed to multiply those numbers by 10 without multiplying your effort by 10. And I know, because I've been part of your journey, that a couple of things happened. One is now you are selling out your programs, getting 40 and 50 and 60 people and getting a wait list. You have brought in coaches to help you deliver the program. You've just brought on a naturopath to help you with some of the processes of helping the students get the information they need and the support they need during the program. And you've really, elevated yourself to the CEO of this business that does, one of the things it does is this program, but I know you've got your eyes on some other things. So your business has changed quite a lot. You've changed quite a lot. You've really stepped into that CEO role. And I just couldn't be more excited for you. But you were at this crossroad. You were at this really tough place. But you're committed to finding a way through. What I love about you, Angela, is that you're not bullheaded. You don't come in, you know your topic, you know menopause, you know that up one side, down the other, would never try and challenge you on that. But when it came to marketing, and this is true for all of us, there are parts of our business where we want to find the mentors and we want to listen to the expertise that others have and just put our heads down and do the work and trust, if they're the right mentor, and go. So you're at a crossroads. What are some of the strategies that you've learned inside of the mastermind program that help transform your business?
There are many. And I'm going to say that my biggest impetus to join the mastermind to start with was to actually get access to both you and Michelle. You as a fantastic mentor in building businesses, and Michelle's unbelievable mind when it comes to marketing. It's like, this is the easiest way that I can get access to these two women, because there was no other way to do it. That was the first thing. And then it's the other women within the group. So, the rinse and the repeat, or Project Broken Record, that Fiona Keary, she did. And I watched her. I came in and, she's a few years ahead of me in what she's doing. And I just watched what she did. I went to every launch that she did. I saw what she was doing. I'm seeing over and over. She just repeated it. Whereas in the past, what I would do is I'd try something, didn't work, throw it out, try something else. Oh, I'll try this, I'll try that. And I'll just keep trying different things because something's got to work.
Right.
And I kind of went, nah, actually, I've got to stop. And I just did the same thing over and over. I got rid of everything except for one program, and that was the Embrace program.
And you rinsed and you repeated, and you were like a broken record. And what I know you did is that you tweaked things. Like, you didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. One time you might have been improving your conversions from, sign-ups to Facebook group, but you didn't get distracted by, there might be a totally different way that I could do this.
And every single time I would make one or two little changes, and it may have been SMS reminders, or creating a sales page that converts, or putting the nurture sequence together. So it's just refining it every single time. But the program itself, and now I've got a program which is very professional. It's all branded. It just looks really, really good. But there's still a few more things that I want to do to improve it even more. So, all those things I've learned in Mastermind. And the other thing that I love about Mastermind is that we've had some really great guest presenters. Now, PLF, Jeff Walker, the book, which was a HerBusiness book, and him coming in and giving us a guest session, I thought I knew how to do PLF. I'd been doing his launches, his launch workshops for years. I just do this, and this. I didn't understand what each stage meant until I read the book, listened to what he said, and then implemented it step by step. I had the book out, and I've had the book out. I'm about to go on the launch again. I've had the book out again. This is what I've got to do here. This is what I've got to do here. And I learned that by being in this environment, in this mastermind environment, being exposed to these type of speakers, being exposed to other women doing similar things. And, we can say, I did this and it worked, or this didn't work. What could we do here? So That it's
There's a couple of things that you said that are really important. One is the people around you and seeing other people doing similar things. But the other thing that you said that I think is really important for everyone listening is that there are iterations. You're going to do something and then you're going to do it again. When you learn a new way to market, and the one that you referenced was Jeff Walker's product launch formula, we think we get it and we do it, but maybe we didn't get it 100%. So we do it again. And when you are around other people, whether it's our mastermind or whatever environment is right for you as you're listening, you want to have someone that can be a sounding board to say, well, here's how I interpreted that message and here's how I'm executing it. Does this look like it's going to give me the results that I want? There's another thing that you said that I wanted to pick up on, and it comes from setting the goals bigger, being willing to play a bigger game. And I know that, you had 4 on one of the courses, just when you came into our world, you were getting 4 people inside your course.
Yeah.
Now, as I mentioned, getting 40 or 50 or 60. And I know some of that turning point has been the strategies that you've implemented, that you've learned through HerBusiness, but some of it has been the internal work you do. And I want to ask you about that in a moment. But I just remembered what I wanted to ask, and that is about, or say, ideal client. So you tweak landing pages, you tweaked emails, you tweaked groups. The other thing that you did that has brought you a little bit of pain in places, and we were just talking about this when we started, is that you got very clear on your ideal client. And when it comes to menopause, it can be such a heated discussion. There are the people who are for HRT, there's the people against HRT, and you made a shift in your messaging in the last 6 months where you said, my program is for women who want to thrive through menopause without HRT. Now, some people might say, oh my gosh, Angela, you're leaving money on the table because you're really dividing the audience. But tell us what happened when you did divide the audience, the upside, right?
Well,
Best launch ever?
Yes, because I got less people into my free workshop, but higher conversions. And it was very scary to do this because, yes, it's very divisive. And there's some people who are very, very outspoken. But because I do interviews for people to join my program, they actually have to apply. And like 90% of them, when I'd say, why do you want to join Embrace? They would say, I'm looking for a solution and I don't want to take HRT. Like every one of them.
They were telling you.
Yes. And even those that were on HRT, they said, I want to get off HRT. So my ideal clients were telling me they didn't want to do HRT, or they wanted to get off HRT. They wanted support with that. And I went, okay, that's what they want. Let's go out to the marketplace and say, this is who I'm for. I'm for women who want to do it without HRT. If you want to do it with HRT, fine, go see your doctor. But if you want to do it without HRT, this is for you.
And this is what I want you to hear as you're listening. This is not whether you agree with the message or not. It's about being bold enough to draw a line in the sand to say, I made this for you, but not for you. As the wonderful Seth Godin said in his book, This is Marketing, we need to be willing to polarize. That's where the gold is. Because now everyone who is, I want to do this, I want to try this without HRT, they're going to find Angela and she's going to stand apart from everyone else out there who might have a more homogenous kind of message. We've talked about you 10xing, 10 timesing your results inside of your business, your income, all sorts of things. What do you think was the turning point for you? Was it a skill? Was it an aha? Like, can you identify anything that caused that real big uplift in your results? Yeah.
Yep. It was you and Michelle believing that I could do it, and me believing both of you, because you could see what was possible for me, even though I had all these blocks. My pricing, I think it used to be about $790, and you guys are going, with what you're doing, you should be selling this for like thousands of dollars. And I'm going, I can't do that. And you believed in me until I was ready to believe in myself. And now I have run the program enough times and I know that the program works. I also know the program works without me, which is fantastic, because it needed to do that, because I was the bottleneck. There was, you'd say, well, why can't you get more people in? I go, because I don't have the capacity to have more people in while I'm doing this myself. And either you or Michelle said, well, why don't you get help? And I'm going, what do you mean get help? And then I went, oh, okay, well, the bit that I'm not that I don't think them that great on is the coaching side. What if I got some coaches who just did the coaching and I did the rest of it? So that was my first thing is, okay, so now I've got coaches. Now I still have a limitation on my numbers because it depends on the number of coaches that I have, because we do have a personalized program. We charge for a personalized program. It's a $2,000 program. It is personalized. It's personalized to each woman. So there is some limit to that, but that's fine. As I train more coaches in, then the program can grow more, but I'm fine where it is right now. So that was the big thing. It's really that belief that it was possible. And when one thing worked, and then I get, I put the price up to $1,000 and I didn't lose clients. I got more clients. And then I went up to 1,500 and I got more clients. And now I get up to 2,000 and my programs are selling out. I open cart and it's supposed to be open for like 3 days and I can sell out in less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
Probably does tell me the prices are too low, but I'm happy to where it is right now.
You're happy where it is right now, and you've made those incremental steps. And maybe, but no one's balking at the price because the value you're giving is way more than what you're charging. Sorry, did you want to finish that? And then I had a question about money.
No, that's basically it. The big shift was that belief that it's possible, and then I think it was just, well, let's just try it. And this year I'm trying a few different things as well. I've brought a naturopath on to take over some of the role that I have. So that's been a big shift because I've always been the lead practitioner. I've always been the naturopath. So to put someone else in is a shift for me. So, but I'm trying a few different things. And now I see this all as, let's just see what happens. It's an experiment. Yeah. Will it work?
I love it.
Won't it work? Some things do, some things don't, but that's okay. We just try it again.
Yeah, I love that. Whether it's through our HerBusiness Network membership or the mastermind program that you're a part of, or our higher level program, the HerBusiness Boardroom, which is a very exclusive program. As you know, we prioritize accountability and regular check-ins. And one of the things we're regularly checking in on is numbers. So I wanted to ask you about having to have someone check in on you, on your numbers, on your financials, on your income, on your, just having you put your focus on money, a topic that many of us, maybe not you, it's kind of happening. It's kind of happening over there, and there's money coming in the door. So tell me what having an ongoing attention on your numbers, whether that be the number of people in your course, the income, the profit for your course, your budgets, that side of the business, how has that supported your business and what has it meant for your business?
Well, I'm going to be honest here. Numbers, and well, it's interesting. I'm actually a qualified accountant, but I'm going to say numbers are not my thing.
Couldn't help us. It's not your thing.
Until particularly boardroom. Boardroom changed the way I looked at my numbers. I didn't even know. I didn't even know if I was making money. And I knew I got money in and I sent money out. It wasn't until I got to boardroom, and now every month we've got to look at our numbers and actually track what's going on. We put budgets in and we see what's going on. And I didn't know when I got to 100,000. I did know when I got to 200,000, but I didn't know when I got to 100,000 income. I knew at the end of 2022 that I got to 96,000 income. So I knew I didn't make 100. Then the following year, in this last 6 months of last year, I went over 200,000. So somewhere along the line, I got to 100,000, and then I got to 200,000 before the end of the year. But I knew the 200,000. I didn't know the 100,000 mark. I just knew that I didn't make it the year before. So now it's way past 200,000, and now I'm looking at it, and it's also, it helps me plan. So I've got employees. I've got a part-time employee. Now I know I've got the money to be able to pay her. So that was always a concern. It's like, okay, how, if I bring on an employee, which is totally different to having a contractor. Yes. Because a contractor, you can end a relationship whenever you like. But an employee, you got to pay them. So I needed to know that I had a business that could afford to pay and continue to pay, particularly when at the moment, the way my programs work, I have a lot of money that comes in for a couple of months, and then there's none, and then there's a lot. Right. So I go up and down with my income because that's the way my programs run. So I needed to have the confidence that I could afford to pay an employee. Plus, all the extra bits that you've got to, look after when you have an employee that you don't have when you have contractors. So looking after the money and being aware of the money really just, it changed me. And I think that's what made me then create a business name that was outside of my name. So now I got a business, and the business is responsible for making sure that my staff get paid.
And that you get paid.
Yes, that bit too.
But it's great because we think we're our business, especially when we're solopreneurs. We think we are the business. And the moment that we can put ourselves in the CEO role and we can see that the business is a different entity and the role of the business is to ensure that it is making a profit, if we can disengage, then we start to think about it as from that CEO perspective.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. You're going to have a bumper year. We know that. I'm excited that you have other people supporting you, both inside the business and around you. And the program you mentioned, Boardroom, just again, if you're listening, you're like, well, what is that? It is a year-long program for a very small group of women. It's closed at the moment. It's closed for the rest of the year. There are only 12 women, and they're all hand-selected from women already inside of our community. But if you are a member, you want to know about that program, please ask me. If you're not a member, it doesn't matter. The idea is that Angela has a way for checking in on her numbers every single month. And that's a practice that I think that we want to have as business owners, whether we're checking in with our bookkeeper, whether we're checking in with our accountability groups inside the HerBusiness network. We check in quarterly on, what are our projected sales for the next 3 months? What marketing activity are we going to do to get there? And then when we come back together, we're like, well, how did we go? Because otherwise, how do we know if we're being profitable? How do we know if we are hitting those milestones? How do we know if we can invest in that new technology or bring on that new team member, or whether we're charging too much or too little? So we're about to just put a really big focus on money inside of our organization for our members, because while we all want the marketing, right? We all want to sell more courses and more memberships and more items in our e-commerce store and more services and more trainings and all those things. At the end of the day, if it doesn't make sense financially, there's going to be a point where it's just not viable. And having a self-sustaining business is one of my priorities for our members. I want to ask you, we know you've got a course coming on. You're going to do it probably at least one more time this year. You've moved from the city here to a beautiful property in Queensland, or is it Northern New South Wales?
Queensland.
Queensland.
Yeah.
What is next for you and for Embrace Menopause? Is there anything on the horizon that you can even give us a little hint at?
Yes. I've always, because I decided not to do one-on-one consulting quite some time ago. I was only going to be delivering group programs, but I continue to be asked that. So now that I actually have a naturopath and coaches on my team, I'm going to be reintroducing the one-on-one consultations, but without me.
Oh, wow. Excellent.
So that's kind of the next big thing, is to introduce some of that one-on-one packaging, using my team, not me. I'm not going to be part of that as well. Helping more women and really changing this conversation around menopause so that women don't see it as the worst time of their life, right, and all of that. And, as you said, I've moved to Queensland. I live in semi-rural. I love to hike. So my aim is to have a business that runs without me while I'm hiking somewhere in the world.
I love that. I love that. Before you head off out in the world, tell us how listeners can connect with you and your work. Of course, we're going to put links to your website and anywhere you want us to point to in our show notes. But tell us about the sort of services you offer. You've hinted at it, but I just want to make sure we've got it all, so that if someone's listening and says, okay, I really need help with this, what are the different ways that they can work with you?
Okay, so the Embrace program, which runs 3 times a year, that's my paid program. And before that, I always run a free Secret to Thriving in Menopause Without HRT workshop. So that's kind of my lead generation to get more and more people in. And then we open application for the Embrace program for that. At the moment, my website is still angelacounsel.com, because we haven't put the changes in place for the URL. So everything is over on my website, and also all socials, it's Angela Counsel. And you find there's information about the free workshops. I've got a podcast called Menopause Conversations. So lots of stuff out there. Just Google me, you'll find me. And do so, take some of the free things that I do and learn what I do. And if it's for you, then when I open the doors, you can then apply to become part of the Embrace program. And every woman that joins the program who actually takes action and does the recommendations that are given to them, which are all personalised, every one of them gets results. And I'm really comfortable to say that every woman that follows their program will get results.
Yeah, and I know a number of women in our network who've done the program and they just rave about it. And it's the sort of program they talk about is life-changing, transformational, all those things that we want to hear as educators. Angela, is there anything you'd like to leave us with?
No, it's been fun talking to you. It's always fun talking to you.
Likewise. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Angela. If Angela's story has inspired you to embrace your role as CEO and make strategic changes in your business, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Join us at herbusinessnetwork.com and you get instant access to all the benefits of being part of the Her Business community, working alongside women like Angela to grow a thriving, sustainable business. Now, for more information on Angela's services and programs, get all her details over at the show notes page for this episode. Now, if you found value in today's episode, please subscribe, rate and review the podcast on your favorite listening platform, but ideally on Apple Podcasts because they're kind of the big daddy. And we want to share this message with as many women as possible. Thank you so much for listening. I love putting the show together for you. Until next time, I'm Susie Daphnis. Here's to doing what you love every day.